Hello, and welcome to the Flying Cat Marketing Interview Series. Today I have John Vuong from Toronto, who's the owner of Local SEO Search in Toronto, a family-owned SEO business. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Well, thanks a lot, Maiva. I'm excited to be on your show today and sharing some SEO tips or insights and the journey with
Love
your
it.
audience members today.
So tell us a little about Local SEO Search. What kind of businesses do you serve? I know you've been in SEO for decades.
Yeah, so I'll just give you a background. I started 8 years ago, starting this agency, Local SEO Search, but I didn't know anything about SEO. But prior to that, I worked in advertising sales for 10 years. And I worked in traditional advertising, print media, the radio, magazines, television. And then I dabbled into online affiliate performance base, which was cost per sale, cost per acquisition, cost per impressions, etc. And then I went back and did what I truly enjoyed, which was working with business owners. So I worked for 5 years at Yellow Pages, which is a phone book, which went out to every single home business for free. And a lot of small, medium-sized business owners relied on it as their main source of advertising for the year. But that's where I met with thousands of business owners, and they were great humans, great people that really resonated with me, my lifestyle, and my values, which is family first, took care of their community, really valued the product and service they offered, and they really understood how to run a successful business, not just chasing for money or chasing for fame. They supported one another. They took care of each other. They really understood what it meant to build a strong community business, local. So fast forward until I left Yellow Pages. So the last couple of years at Yellow Pages was challenging because business owners were frustrated. People were no longer getting the same kind of return on their investment in terms of ad spend. And as you know, the behaviors of us has shifted to more digital. And with Google, everyone was now spending more time navigating and finding things online. So I just needed to understand. I knew there was a need. Business owners were telling me I was frontline, and I just needed to be that kind of person or work with a company that did it very well. And at that time in Toronto, all these SEO agencies were going after bigger brands. They were going after the big fish in the market, and no one really took care of the local business owners, right? Small, medium-sized businesses. So I wanted to step in and figure it out. So that's how I started this company. Really didn't know anything about SEO, but I soon kind of uncovered what I needed to do properly, well, and formed a team to really help these business owners elevate their visibility online.
So how big is your team now?
So we have about 30 plus employees, and we have different pillars, right? So we have experts in everything to do with SEO. So content writers, SEO strategists, developers, graphic designers, social media managers, as well as link builders. It's everything, as well as frontline account managers, customer support, success, etc.
I love that social media is included as an SEO. Does that count as off-page SEO?
Signals. So social media plays as a multi-touch point because it's one of your asset pieces. So your website's an asset piece, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. All these are things that people are now vetting, checking you out to see if you're legitimate. And you need to have good exposure in every single platform based on where the journey is of your customer. And therefore, you need to not just update your website, but you need a good reputation. You need content that's compelling, that's engaging enough for people to then navigate and seek out your services. So everything plays like this whole digital space. People have to understand what mediums your customers are using.
I love that. So do you provide, that's like really full service marketing. It's not just SEO search. So I get that it signals, and I get that it's all part of the way that we understand whether a website or a business has authority or not. But it sounds like you're dabbling in a lot of areas, actually.
Yeah, so because small business owners don't know what they don't know, right? They think email is the same as Google, or they think Facebook is Google, right? Business owners just don't get how this digital landscape works, especially if you've been a tradesperson, like a plumber, a roofer, or electrician, right? Or you're a dentist or a lawyer, right? You've been in that trade for so long that this whole digital space is all new to you. So they don't really understand and grasp how it works, what goes on behind the scenes, and what triggers authority to then become what Google's looking for, right? So I just try to make it easy for them to be it and help them, not worry, because that's the least of their worries, right? Like they got to figure out how to pay their bills. They have to pay rent and take care of their clients. That's more important.
So how do you have to, do you find that you have to educate a lot of clients about how it works? And do you find that challenging to do given the complexity of SEO?
Yeah, so we definitely inform, educate a lot. We do a lot of webinars. We speak. We go out there and do what we can. Right. The challenge is business owners. They don't have time. They want to go with someone they can trust. But there's a lot of misconceptions in this industry. A lot of people claiming fame. They guarantee a lot of results, and they don't really have a good foundation of what SEO is all about. Right. So they're in it to sell, and then leaving a bad impression for people that are actually doing all the hard work, doing it properly. So for me, it's more try to educate, inform, build a relationship, trusted. All these are huge components of running a successful business, I feel, not just an agency.
Yeah, I agree. And you do talk a lot about your online presence, about building a business. And you've mentioned that people is the number one thing that you should learn if you're trying to grow a company. You're very people driven. And I can already tell just from this conversation that we're having, everything you're doing is to serve people the best way. So tell me about your experience growing your business as an agency, and how and why people is the most important thing.
Yeah, without clients, without giving, without helping others, why are you in business? Right? Like if you're in for wrong reasons, and I know a lot of people are chasing, right? Chasing money, chasing fame, chasing titles, chasing whatever it is. I just want to help. I want to help people that are good people, which are hardworking family members, neighbors, community leaders, whatever it is, to to have a better life, right? Like it's so frustrating for a lot of these business owners that have been in business for 20, 30 years, yet someone that just started is already ranking better than them online, and they don't really know how to run a business, right? So there's a gap there, and it shouldn't be that way. These business owners should actually be dominating online because they've been established for 20, 30 years in their community. So there's that huge gap, and I wanted to bridge that gap. And these business owners knew how to take care of these businesses, like their customers. They provided extra value. They took care of them service-wise, product-wise, like understanding unique selling propositions, as well as like all the gaps with competitive analysis, pricing well, service well, everything, foundation. And then fast forward to now, like younger people are dominating online, even though they don't know how to run a business. And that's not how it should be.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. And there's a lot of people being burned. I don't know so much about the brick and mortar space. Obviously, I work more in tech and SaaS, but there's a lot of people now who are feeling burned, I think, from working with companies whose marketing is really good because they know how to do a lot of marketing. Turns out they don't know as well how to provide the service or they sell a product, but they're not providing that extra support. And I love that you're bridging that gap and kind of connecting the people who are focused on getting the job done, but then they're not able to go and build a place for themselves online. So that's great. And how many people in your team right now are you? Everybody that you mentioned, they sound like executors. And I'm interested in also management, leadership.
Yeah. So starting, like even myself, I don't know much about leadership. I don't know how to run a business. Like I've learned over the years, and I've gotten people who started with me to evolve with me. So the people who started early are now my leaders because they know me. They know what I'm about, who I want to serve, and the employees should all be kind of similar, right? In terms of value props. So we didn't really hire for specific positions. We harvest them from traits and personalities within. And my operation manager is the person that started with me. My SEO manager, yes, he had some skill set, but he's evolved over the years, right? Like, so for me, again, I don't know if this is good or bad. I've been reading a lot of John Collins books, Good to Great, all these things. It sounds right. Ray Dalio's work-life principle, it sounds right. So I'm motivated by just keep getting better, not being still, improving, acknowledging there's gaps. There's a lot of competition in the marketplace. Just try, right? Try to get better, try to improve, try to do things that you feel are challenging.
So do you have a process for hiring people for value, or do you go by your gut? How do you know that somebody shares values with you?
Yeah. So again, a lot of practice, a lot of mistakes over the years. We hired wrong for many, many positions, and we've learned, right? We now hire really slow and fire fast. We take our time, and we always ask people references, just like when people are trying to be a client of ours, right? They're going to do their due diligence. They're going to ask all these references, check you out. We do the same thing, right? Same with tenants. If you have ever rented, people, the landlord wants to ensure that you're a good person that will pay their bills on time, take care of the home, all these things. It's the same thing as an employee, but they're also going to want to portray your brand properly. So you need to even validate that and check even deeper the long-term sustainability of them as humans, right? Like where are they in terms of their life cycle, in terms of business career or work career, and do they fit with what you're looking for at this time of your business? So understanding all that, like learning and making a lot of mistakes, I've matured and I've gotten better, but I can say I'm not perfect.
It's hard to be perfect when it comes to dealing with people, because every person is different, and like you said, it's all about learning. And I think with my team, we're reading a book called Radical Candor. Yeah. And there's a mention in there about how a lot of these big tech companies in Silicon Valley, they're hiring, or just big corporations in general, they're hiring, always looking for the superstar who wants to get promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted, but that there's always a space for the rock star, they call it. So there's the superstar, the person who's always scaling and has an upward trajectory. And then there's the rock star, who's the person who actually can stay kind of in the same position and has a slow growth trajectory, but that there's always room for them. And I think that that was an interesting thing to look at when hiring. So I'm brand new to hiring. So I'm interested in getting some value from you as well. But there's just so many different aspects. Am I looking for somebody who's going to stay in this kind of position? Am I looking for somebody with a high growth trajectory? Am I looking for somebody with shared values as me, but maybe not with the same skills as me, maybe somebody who's bringing something different to the table? So with all of that in mind, what's the number one lesson, if you could go back in time, hiring lesson that you've learned?
So look for people that complement you, but there's gaps, right? You acknowledging what your gaps are that need to be filled. Because without that, then you don't know what to hire for. A lot of people hire for someone similar to your thought process, mindset, and skill set, right? But that's the wrong thing to do. You have to really look at where you're at, where you want to be, what this person brings to the table, and is he going to fill the gap and need, dependent on what situation you're in your business. If you're new, then there might be a lot of gaps, someone that is multifaceted with a lot of different skill sets. When you become more mature, there's a specific skill set that you're looking for. And it all depends on the person that you're looking to hire as well. Like, where is their evolution? What is their long-term goals? And it has to match, right? So hiring is, it's an art. It's hard. Just like in sales, it's hard. And you're gonna make mistakes. Just enjoy the process. Have fun. Don't make it make or break, hopefully, of your business, because if you value this person, if you value the process, then at least you're gonna learn from it. But if you don't, and you're like, this is something I've always dreamt of and I need, well, that expectations are already too high, right? So you need to like bring it down to realistic expectations and just enjoy everything you do. You should be enjoying the process.
Yeah. That's inspirational. Do you find it still easy to nurture all of these people when now you have a team of 30 people, which is still not huge, but I find that, I mean, that's a lot of energy to be nurturing
Yeah.
30 people daily.
So I've gotten better over the years. I've learned. So last year, mid-cycle during this pandemic, I've gotten much more clarity as to what I need to accomplish, which is take care of my base, take care of my staff and my clients, the two most important things to keep this machine going, right? And what I've been focused on is a lot of internal training, a lot of feedback, a lot of understanding what perspectives they're going through, what's going on in their lives. And when you have a better clarity as to like who they are, what their purpose is, what they're about, then you can help them achieve what they want to achieve. So every year, like at Yellow Pages, when I was working in big corporate, we did a lot of goal setting. We were very, much a bigger brand that encompass a lot of weekly trainings, a lot of monthly goal setting, a lot of like things that help me build this company to be more nurturing for employees, right? So these monthly calls, what does it entail? Am I training them on a specific topic? Am I allowing them to collaborate? Am I allowing them to engage and have questions and comments? Everything is all about them. They are the focal point, not me, right? I want to uplift them so that they improve their processes, their knowledge, their whatever it may be that they want to get, right? Just like in sales, just like your client, it's not about you, it's about them. If you focus more about others, then you have a giving mentality. They respect you more and they actually see that you're not just trying to drain them for whatever they have. You actually want to help enhance their, progress.
Yeah. And that applies as well to SEO content. I mean, this is the way to success. This is the way, putting people first. I think it's not only for building your team, nurturing a team. It's not only for having great relationships with your clients, but I think that that's also what helps companies succeed on SEO, on content, is actually, how can we help the person who's searching? How can we help this person first?
It's totally correct, right? Like the reason I'm in this, and I love the space, even though it's challenging. It's all about giving, right? It's all about making sure the user is, or the customer, the prospect, is the focal point of the entire journey, right? What do they really want? They want you to solve a problem of theirs. They want you to be, answering all their issues with substance, with depth, and maybe some social proof that you've helped others in the same situation.
Yeah.
If you can prove to them or show that you can do that in a very good manner, then you have a good product or service to offer others.
Yeah.
And it's not rocket science, but a lot of people make it sound like it is. But if you look at these bricks and mortar foundational businesses, they've been doing it offline for generations. If you take the same foundation and put it into digital, yes, there's much more complexity. There's a lot more different platforms and mediums, but the basic foundation is the same.
Well, we'll close it there because I know that you have to run, John. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you and to get some insights about everything that you've been doing at Local SEO Search. Where's the best place for people to connect with you online if they want to talk to you more?
Yeah, definitely. They can check out my website. It's www.localseosearch.ca. If you go to the team page, you can find me, and I'm usually engaged on LinkedIn. There are other social buttons there. I'm sure you can find me on Facebook and Twitter and all these other ones. We also have a podcast as well. If any of the listeners want to listen to some tips and tricks on how to help you become a better business person. It's called Local SEO Today. We've been doing it for a couple of years, and we just try to educate. We are just like you, business owners, trying to understand and navigate through this complex world. And we just have a little bit more experience with me and my VP of sales. We've worked with tens of thousands of business owners, and we just have a lot more experience. And with that, we wanted to share some valuable insights on things that you can do or prevent so that you don't make the same mistakes that others have.
Love it. Okay, so whoever's listening, if you want to learn about how to not make the same mistakes, learn from other people's mistakes, and learn how to grow your business, scale your team, SEO, be sure to follow. It's called Local SEO Today, yeah? And it can be found on Spotify,
Yes.
iTunes, everywhere. Great. Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate your being here. And whoever is listening or watching this episode, please do give it a like if you liked it, and connect with John as well. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Have a great day.
Thank you.